You are watching TMB Truth Matters Broadcasting. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Maycha'al and you are watching. You are watching TMB Truth Matters Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you a lot. You are watching TMB Truth Matters Broadcasting. All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maycha'al and you are watching Truth Matters Broadcasting, where we discern for ourselves the truth about religion, the kingdom of the Creator, our higher power, the Most High God, and of course the church. I had some recent discovery about my name. And not about my name, but about my tribe, of which of the 12 tribes of Maycha'al, aka Israel, I belong. Well, I kind of knew that I was Loe. The Hebrew word is Loam, or Loe. We call it Levite. Always knew I was a Levite because in my family side, the male side of my family, we are either preachers or voodoo man. Preachers or obia man, as we say in Jamaica, dabbling in the magical arts. So it's either we are preachers, deacons, choir leaders, choir member, all these kind of stuff when it comes to the church, or we are in the black arts, my side of the family. Or guess what I've learned as well? They could sometimes both. They're in the church, but they dabble in voodoo. Ah, boy, I tell you. Well, it's one of the traits, and how you can find it out is through the blessings that Jacob gave to his children before he died. More on this on the Ravenous Bird. Go check out the Ravenous Bird on YouTube. The Ravenous Bird on YouTube. Check him out. He has a YouTube channel called the Ravenous Bird, and on that YouTube channel you can check out Brought by Ships. When you check that out, you will see just who the lost tribes of Maycha'al, aka Israel, are. We no longer lost. The revelation has come through the Creator giving the Ravenous Bird a greater insight of who we are as a people. And so when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, you will see the blessing and the curse. And the blessings and the curse are the curse of Deuteronomy 28 from 15 to 68. You will see the identifying mark, ladies and gentlemen, the identifying mark of the true lost tribes of Maycha'al, aka Israel. I've done many broadcasts on this. If you want to check out some of what I've done so far, you can go to Maycha'al Maycha'al. That's my channel outside of my other channels that I'm viewing on here. My YouTube channel is Maycha'al Maycha'al. That's my name. And like I said, the recent discovery of the fact that I am of the line or seed of Aaron, which makes me a priest. It's something I don't take lightly, you know what I mean? Because now I have a charge to be able to bring are bring the message and take the gifts from the people to Yahweh. And we're commanded to bless. We are commanded to bless the people. So I don't take that lightly. Help me to get my channel now living in the Philippines. Not now living in the Philippines. I'll talk about that later. Help me to get my channel Maycha'al ban Ya'osher all up to 1,000. Up to 1,000 subscribers. The reason for that is that I can go live on that channel and I can talk a lot more on that channel. But if you want to see my journey from where I came from Christianity to where I'm at now, you have to go to Maycha'al Sewell. Maycha'al Sewell on YouTube, Maycha'al L. Sewell, SR. And you will see my journey from Christendom to Ya'osher. It's powerful, man. You'll see my walk. Check out my other YouTube channel called Now Living in the Philippines. Now Living in the Philippines is a YouTube channel that I started when I got here. It's up to now 6,500 subscribers in less than, say, 6 months. I think I own this channel for about since July. So it's about a year now since I own this channel. And for the past 6 months, it's just been growing and growing. And it's now up to 6,500 subscribers. Help me to get it to 10,000. I want to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of this month. 10,000 subscribers. You can do it, ladies and gentlemen. I know you can. Most viewers will glance on something, but they forgot to hit the subscribe button. So I'm asking you to go subscribe to my channel, Now Living in the Philippines. Yeah, a great blessing is waiting for you there. Because when you bless a child of Abraham, the blessing comes back to you. And this is from the promise that Yahweh made. He said, whoever bless Abram, he will bless. Whoever curse Abram, he will curse. I'm not telling you that if you do that, you're going to get a blessing. I'm telling you that we're speaking on the Creator's word, and his word does not return to him void. So if you bless one of us, you're definitely going to get blessed. Try it and see. That's all I have to say about that. Test the waters. So go subscribe. Now Living in the Philippines. Truth Matters Broadcasting, TMB for short, is aired on 4 different social media network. We're talking about YouTube at Maycha'al ban Ya'osher, TikTok at Maycha'al ban Ya'osher, and Facebook at Maycha'al ban Ya'osher. So if you get my name right, you spell my name correctly, you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. On Instagram, you can find me there at Maycha'al, the number 1. Maycha'al 1. Maycha'al 1. So go check me out there, Maycha'al 1. All right? Awesome. Awesome. Today I'm going to talk about marriage. Now, I don't like to come on here and talk about stuff that people are going through. There's many people out there, many pastors and preachers are preaching that stuff. They're preaching those motivational speaking messages to entertain and to inspire you. You're hearing that all over the place on how to fix your marriage and how to this and how to make money and how to think and make money come to you. All these messages are out there and they sound good. And all these messages are itsy bitsy spiders, I would call them, that is taken from the very word of God, but not giving God, Yahweh, the credit. They take his words, they magnify it, and make it seem like they're the ones that come up with it, but they're not giving the credit to where the credit is due. And so all glory and all praise to the highest power, the Creator, who we come to know as Yahweh. Someone asked me on TikTok, said, so you are no longer a Christian? Yes, you're correct. I am no longer a Christian. A matter of fact, I don't know if you guys has read the book or have the book read to you. I'm actually reading this book right now. I think the guy who's actually reading doing the reading is Stevie Landry, and he's reading this book. You can go on YouTube and find anything nowadays. called How to Make a Negro a Christian. How to Make a Negro a Christian. You got to read this book or have it read to you like I'm having it read to me right now on YouTube. How to Make a Negro a Christian. The most vile, the most disturbing, the most imaginable in this book. I tell you, if you read this book, you're going to be sad. If you read this book, you're going to be very unhappy. How to Make a Negro a Christian. So you ask me if I'm a Christian. I am no longer a Christian. I am Maycha'al. A matter of fact, let me just make the proclamation right now so you are here on TikTok and all of you over here will know where I stand. I am one, if not the only one, who is preaching this message. I've never heard it preached. I've never heard it proclaimed to the world before, at least not in the way that I proclaim it, that I'm proclaiming it now. No government on earth. Listen to me and hear what I'm saying, because if you understand these simple truths, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to allow your mind to take you to a place where you start thinking for yourself. All right. You start seeing for yourself. No, and I repeat, no government on earth, on this planet called Earth, worships the Creator, the higher power. 2, no kingdom on this earth. No kingdom, no monarchy, no kingdom on this earth worships the Creator, the highest power. No kingdom. Number 3, no nation on this earth. You heard me. No nation on this earth, nations on this earth worship the Creator. No nation. All right now. Number 4, no religion. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with me here. Hear what I'm saying. No religion on planet Earth, this earth, that worship the Creator. No religion at all worships the Creator. And finally, no church. No church on this planet worship the Creator. I want you to understand the seriousness of what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to understand the seriousness of what I'm proclaiming to you. The kingdom of heaven is not of this world. It's within you. It's in the world, but it's not of the world. And so if you're looking to your government, if you look into your monarchies, your secret societies, your secret families that supposedly control the world, if you're looking to your government, our governments, if you're looking to your religion, and if you're looking to your churches, I'm telling you that you have been deceived and been led astray. And here's something you do not know. And I'm glad to be able to be here today and tell it to you. There is a kingdom, the kingdom on earth. There is a kingdom within a kingdom. A government within a government. A religion within a religion. A church within a church. And a nation within a nation. And you have to understand that one is for the catechumens. Go look it up if you don't know what it means. One is for the catechumens and the goyim, the animals, the uninitiated. And the other is for the illuminated ones who feel like they've been endowed from the gods. They don't worship one God, they worship gods. They're endowed from the gods to be your masters. That's why they can talk about depopulating the earth. They can tell it to you right on national television and you hear it and you applaud. Someone is talking about depopulating the earth, killing you, and you're applauding. They believe that the earth was entrusted to them and they're the one that decide how you eat, how you live, how you move, what you do, and what you don't do. That is why it's said by the elites, you will have nothing and you will be happy. There's a so-called distribution of wealth that is happening. They're not taking it from themselves. They're not taking the wealth, and they got more money than anybody else on this planet. They're not taking this money from themselves to give it to you. They're taking this money from you to give it back to you. Sort of kind of like when the famine came to Egypt. All the grain was stored up. After that 7 years of plenty, and then at 7 years of want, all the stores were sold back to the people. And when their money ran out, ladies and gentlemen, when their money ran out, they sold their possessions and goods. They sold their houses, they sold their field, they sold whatever it is, because when you're hungry and there's no food on the table, you will do whatever it takes to feed your family. After they sold all their possession and goods, they got nothing else to sell. So what they sold into themselves, they sold their services to Pharaoh. Pharaoh owned their fields, and he owned their house, he owned their material items, and he owned them. He owned them, ladies and gentlemen. And so when they sold their service to Pharaoh, what Joseph did, he said, okay, you get to get your fields back, but not as ownership. Pharaoh owns the field. You get to work the field, and 1/5 of everything you work comes to Pharaoh. It's called taxes. You're paying taxes today, ladies and gentlemen, and you're not paying it. Don't think that you pay taxes. Many people think they pay taxes. You're not paying any taxes. They're taking it from you. When you pay something is when you yourself give that tax. You make that payment. You're not making that payment. That taxes is coming out of your check, whether you like it or not. They don't care if you work 1 day or 1 hour. That taxes got to come out of your check. You're not paying taxes. They're taking it from you. You work 30 years and you pay off your house and you think you own it. You got the deed. It's in your name. Oh, you're feeling good. You owe no money, but you owe taxes on that property. You owe 1 month's taxes on that property. They're coming for the property that you worked 30 years to pay off. It's not yours. You only been sold the illusion as to if you own anything, you will own nothing and be happy. A matter of fact, the elites are telling you. Nobody's watching the news because you're so busy listening to everything else, watching the football game, watch the star searches and the American Idols. You're so busy that you're not recognizing the laws that are being made that are governing your lives. You're not recognizing that you are being put and squeezed and crushed in a box every single day. You don't understand this. The elites are telling us that you will own nothing and you will be happy. And this time they're not even stopping at the black folks. It's everybody. But here's what they're saying about the black family. Remember now, they target the black family. They're not saying the Mexicans. They're not saying the Chinese. They're not saying the Puerto Ricans. They're not saying the Russians. They're not saying the Europeans. They're telling us that the black family by the year 2050 will have zero wealth. The wealth of the black family will be zero by 2050. Do you know that there is a 2030 plan? I'm not even going to get into that because I'm not here to talk to you about that. I'm just kind of giving you a little bit to think about. I'm hoping that by the end of this message to you, that you leave thinking. It's only a few of you are going to hear. Many are called. Look at this broadcast. It's going all over the world. And how many of you are online right now? How many of you online? How many of you are watching this? How many of you are hearing this? If you are one such person to hear this, I'm telling you, you were hand chosen by the Creator to hear what you're going to hear today. However, it's not the hearing of the word. It's not the hearing of the law that makes you justified. It's not the hearing of the word that makes you justified, ladies and gentlemen. It's the doers of the word. You can hear it all your life, but if you do nothing, you will be destroyed. You read this book and look at the Psalms and look at the Proverbs. How often have I longed to gather you under my wings, but you are not willing? How long have I give you sound doctrine, but you will not listen to my commands? You will not listen to my rebuke. I'm telling you, this is thus saith Yahweh. The time of your calamity is coming. Calamity will overtake you like a sudden, like a whirlwind. It's going to come upon you like so fast you're not even going to know what hit you. In that moment, in that time, you're going to call upon you. You're going to call upon God, but he will not hear you, ladies and gentlemen. He will be mocking you. How many people in the time of Noah, aka Noah, that watched this man build this ark for 120 years? And just by building the ark, he's telling the world, the creator has set a day he's going to destroy all mankind off the face of the planet. 120 years it took him to build this ark. And they mocked him and they laughed at him. They thought he was crazy. They thought he was crazy, ladies and gentlemen. But the time came and all the animals went into the ark. All the birds of the air went into the ark. Noah and his family went into the ark. And here's the crazy thing about the story, about the event. You guys got to go read this, man. Because many people read it, but they miss this part of it. They miss this part of it, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a part that they miss. When they entered the ark, when the animals went into the ark, the birds went into the ark, when Noah and his family went into the ark, no rain came. Nobody's preaching this, you know. No rain came, ladies and gentlemen. No rain came. They were in the ark 6 days. No rain. Can you imagine the celebration? I have to bring this to your mindset every time I deliver a message. No rain came. They're in the ark for 6 days. Can you imagine the first day when they went into the ark? Can you imagine people outside? I just imagine it all the time. People outside mocking them, telling them they're crazy. You've been preaching forever that God is going to destroy the earth, and now you're in the ark with all these animals. It must be stinking there. All the animals are defecating there. Must be stinking there. Get out the ark. Come on, get some fresh air. That was day one. Day two, they came back. They celebrate. They bring more people. Come out the ark. You crazy. Your God is no God at all. The mockery. Day three, same thing. Day four, day five, day six, same thing. And then here comes day seven. Here comes day seven. Day seven, the rains fell. The deep burst open. The sea comes over and flood the land. Can you imagine the singing and the dancing and the chanting and the shouting? The mockery turned to, please open the door. Please help me. Please, please, please. We were only playing. We didn't believe. We believe now. Open the door. Let us in. You see, it wasn't Knock who closed that door. It was the Creator who closed that door. And any door he opened, no man can shut. And any door he shuts, no man can open. They were celebrating until the time come, the flood take them all away. There's something that you need to know and something that you need to understand here, ladies and gentlemen. The Creator does not play. He is the only true Elohim, the only true Creator, the only true God. All gods has to bow. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to say something to you that you probably never heard before. And you probably never hear anyone preach before. But the Creator is a warrior. He's a dreadful God. He's a killer. I preach this message and I know some of you Christians are looking at me crazy. But you've been reading your Bibles, but you don't understand what it says. Did it not say he's the same God yesterday, today, and forever? Is not that what it says? That he doesn't change? I can show you 2 scriptures. Malachi 3:6. Go read that. I can show you all over the Bible. Go read Psalms 89 verse 34. Psalms 89 verse 34. Go read that. My covenant will I not break, nor alter the things that gone out of my lips. Whatever he said, the Messiah said to us that man shall not live by bread alone, but by what? Every word that proceed out of the mouth of the Creator. Every word, not some, every word. He will fulfill his word, ladies and gentlemen. He's not playing around. He will take vengeance on the nations we serve as slaves. Now, before I get into my message for you today, the marriage, okay, this has a spiritual. We don't like to use spiritual. We like to use roke. The roke, because it's spiritual Christianity. I'm not into Christianity. The roke of Yahweh give inspiration for life, and life, ladies and gentlemen, is like a marriage. Life is like a marriage, and you don't understand that when you're dealing with a marriage, you're dealing with a covenant. This is not a contract. I used to think that marriage is a contract, because I didn't know the difference between a contract and a covenant. I didn't know the difference. I thought I knew the difference, ladies and gentlemen, but I didn't know the difference. But there's a difference. You see, when you enter into a contract with anyone, ladies and gentlemen, you're entering that contract based upon a mutual distrust. Thank you, Marion Goldman, for letting me know this. I didn't know. It takes somebody with a little bit more wisdom and understanding here to give me insight that I could grasp. I'm like, whoa, let me check this out. A contract is based upon a mutual distrust. When you enter into a contract with a person, it's because the person don't trust you. I wonder if anybody is hearing me today. When you enter into a contract with someone, it's because they don't trust you. And you don't trust them. And so the contract is there to say, if you renege, if you breach this contract, I'll have your ass. I'm going to sue you. That's what a contract is, based upon mistrust. But a covenant, a marriage is based upon a mutual love. So when the Creator enter into a covenant with us, it's based upon a mutual love. That's why he holds us to a contract. And what you guys need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, there is no relationship with the Creator of heaven and earth outside of a covenant. Okay. Let me drink some water. See, my lips getting all choppy right now. Especially me doing this all the time. I'm trying to bite off that little piece of annoying. I don't know if you guys do this. I don't know if you notice that I'm very transparent. I'm a very transparent young man. Yeah. Though I'll be 54 soon. But I'm a very transparent young man. Very transparent. I'm not afraid to make mistakes in front of you. I'm not afraid to come back and say, I'm sorry. I'm not afraid to come back and say, oh, show me. I'm not prideful enough to say, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not prideful enough to believe that everyone who hears me today will even listen, will even do anything I remotely, giving you the information to go research. I'm not naive to think that everyone's gonna look it up. That's why the Creator entered into a covenant. I told you this before. From the time of Abram, from the time he destroyed mankind, he started over the earth, he started over the earth with the animals in the ark and the three families. Because Noah didn't have any more children after that. We didn't hear anything about Noah having children after the flood. Maybe, but we haven't heard about anything. We know about the three boys who have with their wives, and the earth split into three zones, and that's where they take. but the earth quickly becomes corrupt and evil again. And because he made a promise with us that he will not destroy the earth with a flood again, he has to come up with a new plan. And what you guys don't realize, if you've seen a rainbow, ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen a rainbow, then guess what? He made a covenant with you. Whether you believe it or not, he made a covenant with you. Have you seen a rainbow? Have you seen one? Well, it's an everlasting covenant, mutual love, that he will never destroy the earth using water, a flood again. And so if you've seen one, though you weren't around to see the flood, you're around to see the everlasting, eternal, perpetual covenant of the rainbow. And this group now take the rainbow and making it their symbol, but they don't understand. It's a mockery of a covenant given to us. So after the earth comes populated again, we see Nimrod, and he was a mighty hunter before Maycha'al, and he just went out and conquered everything and rule all mankind. The first world government. All the earth under one leadership, one government, serving one man in rebellion against the Creator God. The command was to go into all the earth and replenish the earth. But this one man said, hell no, we ain't doing that. We're going to stay right here in this plain, and we're going to build a tower, and we're going to go up there, and we're going to murder you. We're going to kill you, and we're going to take your throne. That was the goal. They built this big old high tower to go up into the heavens to kill God. Can you imagine that? And just in case he flood the earth again, because that's how he destroyed man before, they would be saved in their big high tower. And so when the Creator came down and see what they were doing, what he did, he confounded their language. So kind of all the earth was of one language. I want you to pay attention to this marriage. Pay attention. There's one husband and one wife. The earth belongs to the Creator. He's the creator of it. He's the master of it. He's the owner of it. But mankind decided, no, we don't want you as our God. We want to be our own God, calling our own shots. That was the choice they made. And because of one language, they began to do this great rebellion. And the Creator confounded their language. And then they were forced to be scattered all over the world. But here's the thing. They did not repent it. They scattered all over the world, and they did not repent. They couldn't understand each other, so they weren't unified in their rebellion. So now when you can't speak the language, when you can't understand each other, how do you communicate? Yes, you communicate with signs, symbols, images, hieroglyphs. And so the one God that they worship, the sun God, they worship this God in all different language. It's the same rebellious sun God, Nimrod, and his family that they worship as God, that supposedly had gone up into the sun and birthed the sun baby, our son of God. And that perpetrates throughout all language, ladies and gentlemen. Throughout all language. It's the same God, different names. And they rebel. And of course, in their rebellion, they took their rebellion in their native tongue that they now speak and spread it all over the world. What is the Creator to do? Will he find another way to destroy the earth again and start over again? No. He called one man. He found one man. And that man is Abram. And he made a covenant with Abram. Say, listen to me. I am the God of your fathers. I am the only true God. Walk before me and be blameless. I am your great reward. Through you, the earth will be blessed. There'll be nations that come out of you. Now, this man had no children. lived in his father's house. You see, when you live in your father's house, you can't be in charge. When you live in your parents' house, you can't be in charge. You may have some authority, but you're not in charge. So the goal and the goal was for him to leave his father's house and come to a place where the Creator was going to show him a land flowing with milk and honey. In order for you to be an economy, in order for you to be a nation, in order for you to be a people, you have to have your own land. Oh, I hope you don't miss this. You have no land, you can never establish a foundation. In order to start your own government, in order to start his government through the Creator's government through this one man, he has to have his own people. And so Abram believed and he left. But before Abram started having children, he said, know this. When Abraham asked him, you could watch this, you could read this in Torah 1:15, Genesis 15. And you can hear him say, how do I know that I'm going to inherit all this? Let me see if I can go there to Torah 1:15 right now and see if I can read that. How do I know that all these things are going to happen to me? How do I know that what you're telling me is true? How will I know this? Let's go to Torah 1 and verse 15. Verse 15, verse 1. After these things, Torah, Genesis 15, verse 1. This is the covenant, Yahweh's covenant with Abram. Watch this. After these things, the word of Yahweh came to Abraham in a vision. Fear not, Abram. I am your shield. Who is our shield? Yahweh. I am your shield. Your reward shall be very great. I am your shield and your very great reward. But Abram said, Yahweh, it would read like this: Adonai Elohim. Adonai means Lord, and God is Elohim. Oh Yahweh, Adonai Elohim, what will you give me? For I continue childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus. And Abram said, behold, you have given me no offspring, and a member of my household will be my heir. And behold, the word of Yahweh came to him. This man shall not be your heir. Your very own son shall be your heir. And he brought him outside. Watch this now. This is Yahweh dealing with Abram. And he brought him outside and said, look towards the heavens and number the stars, if you're able to number them. Then he said unto him, so shall your offspring be. And he believed Yahweh, and it was counted to him as righteousness. Now, I want you to understand something, how the enemies of souls, the enemy, try to sterilize you, bring you into slavery and tell you you shouldn't have more than 2 children. You don't have a clue what they were doing to you. They're trying to sterilize you. The amount of abortion that happened on the Planned Parenthood, and who did it target? Who did it target? And the true numbers there is a lot of white folks are having secret abortions. You just don't know about it. To the point now where their numbers are diminished. A lot of people don't know what's going on in this world. You know, in there's certain countries, they're paying black people to come over there and repopulate the nations. Do you know that there are islands now on this planet and places in this world who is looking and paying for people to come over there and help build a nation? Can they realize you need more than 2 children to build a nation? You need more than 2 children to start a generation, to start the next generation. But you have to understand that there's a plan to sterilize you. There's a plan to stop you from generating. Most of you can't have irregular periods. You know why? Because of the foods that you're eating. I just found out today, I don't know how true it is, so I can't vouch for this, but I just found out today that they put in nanites into Coca-Cola and Pepsi. That Bill Gates start this new thing now where they're putting things into Coca-Cola. I put it on my page. Go check it out. Go check out my page. I don't know how true it is. I got to do more research on it. I don't like to speak that which I don't know. But I like to post things so other people can be aware and see and get feedback to see if people say, okay, man, this is fake news, this is hoax, whatever the case may be. But this is what's happening in Coke and Pepsi. So I'm suggesting that until then, till we find out the truth, our people shouldn't drink Coke and Pepsi. But let's continue. Abram believed. He believed Yahweh, and it was counted to him as righteousness. So how do one become righteous? You believe what Yahweh said and do what he says. All right, watch this now. And he said unto him, Yahweh said unto him, I am Yahweh who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to possess it. But he said, watch this now, Yahweh, our Elohim, how am I to know that I shall possess it? Watch what he said. I want you to listen what he said. Now remember now, Abraham have no children yet at this point. Yahweh is making a promise to him, a covenant with him. He has no children. How will I know that I will possess this land? Watch this. Verse 9, Genesis 15:9 says, he said unto him, bring me a heifer. Watch this. Bring me a heifer 3 years old, a female goat 3 years old, a ram 3 years old, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he brought him all these, cut them in half, and led them each half over against the altar. But he did not cut the bird in half. And when the bird of prey came down on the carcass, Abram drove them away. Bird of prey. There's always someone coming to take your covenant, take your blessing. But watch this. As the sun, verse 12, Genesis 15:12, as the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell on Abram. And behold, watch this now. Listen to this very careful. And behold, dreadful and great darkness fell upon him. How did the Creator come down? In great darkness. A lot of people say, oh, he come down in light. Darkness. A dreadful and great darkness fell upon him. Watch this. Then Yahweh said to Abram, know for certain. Listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Know for certain that your offspring will be sojourner in a land that is not theirs, and will be servants there, and they will be afflicted for 400 years. But I will bring judgment on the nation that they serve, and afterward they shall come out with great possession. As for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age, and they shall come back here in the fourth generation, for the iniquities of the Amorites is not yet complete. All right, let me stop right there. I want you guys to pay attention here, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about a marriage now. I want you guys to pay attention there. What did he say? Know for certain your offspring will be sojourners in a land not their own, and they will be inflicted 400 years. And after the 400 years, he said he's going to punish the nation they serve as slave. Now, watch this. I want you to watch this. If you know your history very well, you would see that the children of Maycha'al, those, I don't like to use the word Israel, because when people hear the word Israel, you're not thinking black people. When you hear the word Israel, you're thinking white people that's now occupying the promised land who are calling themselves Jews. When you hear the word Israel, you're not thinking of yourself. If you can trace your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you are the true Hebrew, the true lost tribes of the lost people of the seed covenant promised children of Abraham. How do we know this? How can we know this for certain? Abraham asked the Creator, how would I know this for certain? I'm asking you, how would you know this for certain? Read Deuteronomy 28:15-68. And then ask yourself the question, which people on this planet, which nation on this planet have a 400-year history of enslavement? Those Jews over there who call themselves Hebrews, do they have a 400-year history of enslavement? No, they do not. What about brought by ships and scattered all over the world as slaves? No, they do not have that history. They don't have a history of being brought by ships scattered all over the world. Now, here's the next thing. You have to ask yourself the question, can those people over there, those white people who call themselves Jews, can they last in the desert of Egypt under a taskmaster's whip as a slave, working sun up to sundown for 400 years? They can't. The sun would kill them in 3 days because Egypt is desert. If you didn't know, they can't last in the desert. Because of their recessive skin, they will die. And here's a clincher that most of you may or may not know. The children of Maycha'al did not stay in Egypt as slaves for 400 years. Our forefathers, our ancestors did not have a 400-year history of enslavement. Remember when Joseph went down there, he went down there a slave. But after 2 years, he became what? The second highest ruler in Egypt. So he was the kingpin down there. And through him, the entire region, the entire world at the time was saved because of the dream that Yahweh gave him about what he was about to do. 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. Who sent the 7 years of plenty? Yahweh. Who sent the 7 year of famine? Yahweh. Who told Abraham, your children will be in the land that they own? Yahweh. Everything that's happening on the planet, ladies and gentlemen, is not some secret society. It is Yahweh who is in control. There's no devil on one side and Yahweh on one side, and they're fighting for supremacy of the earth. The earth is Yahweh and the fullness thereof. He owns everything. Nothing can happen on this planet without him. He said, I, Yahweh, done all these things. I created evil. I created good. I created death. I created life. I created calamity. I, Yahweh, has done all these things. You find that in the book of Isaiah. He's the one doing it. He created good and evil. He's the one who's sending evil. How many times you read the Bible, he said, I will send evil upon you. Who's the one who told Doeg, aka David, when he killed the man and took his wife, he said, the sword will never leave your house? Who was the one who said that? He's the one. Who's the one who sent the Babylonians to whip us in shape? He's the one. Who's the one who stretched out his hand with fury, pour out and put us into slavery? He's the one. Don't think no devil is over here and fighting with y'all. The devil have no power over y'all. Who on this planet has more power than Yahweh? Who can say yes when he say no? Who can stay his hands? Who can stop what he said is going to happen? Every people on this planet has to bow down to the Creator. And he sets up kings and he disposes of them. Read that in Daniel 2 when Nebuchadnezzar had the dream. Daniel 7 when he stood up and said, or Daniel 4 when he stood up and said, is it this not great Babylon that I have built? Taking credit. Say, listen, man, you don't know Jack. I'm going to make you eat grass for 7 years. You're gonna eat grass for 70 years. I'm gonna keep your kingdom intact till you recognize that I am the one who sets you up and I am the one who disposes of you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Nebuchadnezzar and Babylonian kingdom and where we are today in the dispensation of time. But I want to take you back to Abraham because we're in a marriage, you see, ladies and gentlemen. The children of Maycha'al in a marriage. Now, going back to Egypt, like I said, the children of Maycha'al was not in Egypt for 400 years as slaves. So when the Creator told Abram, your children will sojourn in a land not their own, and they will serve 400 years, he wasn't speaking of Egypt. Egypt, the physical Egypt, was an antitype to what was coming. There's only one place in history where the children of Maycha'al served 400 years of enslavement, and that's right here in the West, right here in America, right in America, the Caribbean, European countries, when they were taken out of Africa. Africa is not the motherland. When Nero destroyed our temple, Titus destroyed the temple, and we were forced, and when he expelled all Jews from Rome, we all enter and went into Africa. Africa is not our motherland. You just look at us and look at Africans. Do we look alike? You can look at a Western and American and Caribbean islands. We don't look alike. We have certain traits, but we don't look alike. We're different. Our heads are different. We shape different. Our teeth are different. We're different people. And they sold the first slave owners and traders are Africans. Know this for certain. The first slave owners and slave traders are Africans. We're not Africans. They sold us into slavery to the Spaniards and the Portuguese and Portuguese, and them take us by ships all over the place, to Americas, to Europe, to Spain, to South and to North and South America. And then England came in and they started taking us to the Caribbean islands, Germany, Italy, French. When they come, oh my goodness. And that's why we have to go back to Babylon to see how these things all fit together. But we're talking about a marriage here, because some of you are being distorted to think of a marriage as a contract that you can break when someone falter. You know, when you enter into a marriage covenant, what it says, until death do you part. You know why they put that in the covenant? Because only death can break a marriage, or infidelity. And we have been infidels, adulterous nation. And because we become adulterous, we were sold into slavery. So if you look at the history, you will see that our people did not spend 400 years in the physical Egypt as a slave. The length of time they spent in Egypt was about 250 years. The only place our people has ever spent 400 years a slave is through the Americas and the Caribbean islands. 400 years. You see, the Creator works in time. He's outside of time, but he works with time. And because he works with time, ladies and gentlemen, time has to pass. So time waits on the Creator. I wonder if anybody heard that. I wonder if anybody heard what I just said. Time waits on the Creator. The Creator doesn't wait on time. And we know that time waits on no man. Time waits on no man, but time waits on the Creator. He's the author of it. He made it. He created. He knows the end from the beginning. Verse 17. Genesis 15:17. When the sun has gone down and it was dark, behold, a smoke fiery pot and a flame torch passes between these pieces. And that day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abram, saying, to your offspring, come on now, there's more to this covenant. To your offspring, I give this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river of Euphrates, to the land of Canaanites, the Canaanites, the Kadomites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Raphaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Gashiites, was that right? And the Jebusites. Anybody understand what's going on here? He said he's going to give us this land. We're not on the land. We're not on the land. Remember, our ancestors possessed the land at one time, but the Creator expelled us off the land and pushed us into slavery. And that 400-year sentence has to take place. So within that 400 years is what they call the Dark Ages, where there was no voice from heaven. Only the preservation of the word, of his word being fulfilled through the enslavement of his people, and the enslavement of the worst kind. You go to Deuteronomy, Surah 5 and verse 28, and watch these curses, and you will see that there was a blessing for obedience. 1 through 15 was a blessing. If you do these things, you will be blessed. I read Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. It says, and if you faithfully obey the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim, being careful to do all his commandments that he command you today, that Yahweh, your Elohim, will set you high above the nations of the earth. Where were we supposed to be? High above the nations of the earth. Why were we going to be high above the nation of the earth? Hold your hand right there at Deuteronomy, and let's go to Exodus 19. Exodus and verse 19. When he took our ancestors out of Egypt the first time, let's start in verse 4 here. Verse 4. He says, Exodus 19 verse 4, when he took our ancestors out of Egypt into the promise, into the wilderness, he gave them first and foremost his Shabbat, and he taught them how to keep it by giving them manna from heaven. He said, I'm going to fall the manna Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday to first day through sixth day. And you must pick up every day, you must pick up just that what you're going to eat for the day. Some of our ancestors were unruly, go pick up more and turn maggots. He said, on the sixth day, I want you to pick up it for 2 days. So on the sixth day, they were picking up for 2 days. It didn't turn maggots. He was training them with falling the manna. They complain, oh, we want meat. He sent them the quail, but he was training them. After that, he brought them to Mount Sinai. Just stay on. And he gave them the 10 commandments. He showed them what it meant to worship him, what it means to worship him. The laws were 5 of the laws were towards the Creator. 4 of the laws were towards the Creator. If you notice, it was towards the Creator. The first 4 laws is man's duty to the Creator. The next 6 laws was man's duty to one another. And he wasn't talking to the world. He didn't give his commandments to the world. There was Egypt at the time. They were destroyed. There were the Philistines, the Perizzites, the Amorites, the Amalekites, the Canaanites, the Philistine. They were around at the time. He never gave them the law. The law was for the children of Maycha'al. Watch this. Watch this. And I'm going to prove that to you. Let me prove it to you right now before I read this. Why do we know that the laws were not for the world? Because in that very same 10 commandment, he commanded us not to kill. Thou shalt not kill, he says. Thou shalt not kill, he says. Thou shalt not kill. A couple months later, what are we doing? We went to Jericho. We killed everybody in Jericho. We went to the Amorites, we went to the Canaanites, we kill everybody there. The Amalekites, we kill everybody there. You get what I'm saying? He used us to destroy 7 nations. So if he said thou shalt not kill, then how could he use us to kill someone else? To destroy man, woman, and children. See, the laws were not for them. The laws were for us. We were not to kill one another. We were not to covet one another. We were not to lie to one another. The laws were for him because he didn't make a covenant with the world. The creator, yes, the killer, the creator is going to destroy the world. But why didn't he destroy the world yet? Because we were enslaved throughout the world. And we had to accomplish 400 years of it. After the 400 years, he has to do what he said he's going to do. And you're going to see earthquakes. You're going to see devastation happening, especially in America. I'm telling you to start packing up and flee from America. And I'm telling you, OMPP, if you can trace your lineage to the Atlantic slave trade, you are OMPP. I'm telling you, don't leave America and go to Africa. Don't leave America and go to Jamaica or any Caribbean in the West Indies or Canada or Europe or any small remote islands. You are to come to Cebu, Philippines. That is where he said us to come. Go and watch the ravenous bird on YouTube. Leave on wings. Leave on wings. Go and watch the ravenous bird leave on wings, and you'll see why you need to come to Cebu, Philippines. If you leave America and you go to Europe, if you leave America and go to anywhere else, you're going to be destroyed. He's going to destroy the nation we serve as slaves. You want to go in the wilderness where he tells you, where he commands you to go. There's no million-man march. So don't look for a whole lot of people to do this. It's 1 from a family, 2 from a city. Because it's not everyone's going to hear. What, you didn't hear what the Messiah said? Just like Noah's time, that's the day. That's how it's going to happen. How many people we saved? 8 people were saved. 8. How many people got destroyed? Destroyed millions. The whole world. You think it's going to happen the same way? Only a few people going to hear it. Many will be called, but a few will be chosen. And why? Because only a few is listening to Maycha'al Maycha'al right now. Only a few of you going to hear this and act upon it. You might be saying to yourself, what must I do? I'm telling you, get your passport together. You can't fly down here. Because you see, according to the revelations, according to the prophecy, you're going to leave on wings. The woman was given 2 wings like an eagle, so she can fly into the wilderness. There she'll be nourished for time and a half a time. That's 98 years to be exact. Where he'll build us into a strong nation again. As he destroyed the nation of the world. I'm not telling you that next year is the end of the world. I'm not telling you that because the prophecy has to be fulfilled. Not one jot, not one tittle, not one title will be taken from the law until all be fulfilled. So he can't destroy the world because he has to build us back up into a nation, and we have to go take the promised land like he said. So it's not the end of the world, but it's going to be the end of the power structure. A lot is shifting. Watch this now. Let's go back to 19. Exodus 19, Torah 2:19, verse 4. You yourself have seen what I did to the Egyptians. Who did it to the Egyptians? Yahweh. You yourself have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings. On what? On eagle's wings. On what? Eagle's wings. That same eagle's wings is going to take us. That same eagle's wings is going to take you from all the countries from which he scattered you. That's plain. He make a reference to it. There's eagle's wing. How did they walk out of Egypt? They walked. They didn't go on no wing. They didn't fly anywhere. They walk out of Egypt. So why is the creator using eagle's wings? Because that's an antitype. He's showing in the past what's going to happen in the future. And he's showing us in the future what has happened in the past and what he's going to do. That's why I'm saying you yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptian and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now, therefore, watch this. Here's the choice. Now, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice, what are you supposed to do? Go to church and worship some God. No! You were bamboozled to think you have a religion. You were bamboozled to think you have a government. You were bamboozled to think there's monarchies care about you, there's hierarchies care about you. You were bamboozled to think, oh, you're part of the nation, the great America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, the great European countries. They care nothing about you. You are their slave. You will always be their slave. And the only person that can free you from their clutches is Yahweh. And right now you're obeying another master. You're worshiping and serving another God. The God of wood and stone, which I'm going to talk about later on. But you go back to verse 4, Exodus 19 and verse 4. You yourself have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Unto myself. He didn't bring you unto a nation. He didn't bring you unto a church, a religion. He brought you unto himself. Watch this now. Now, therefore, here's the choice. He's giving you a choice. And that's what I love about the Creator. He doesn't force anyone. He will never save you against your will. Whoever stayed in Egypt would be destroyed. Whoever followed the Egyptian would have been destroyed. Don't force anyone. Now, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant. What are you supposed to do? If you will obey my voice, that means you must hear him when he speaks. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth. Every word, not some, not just the words that you can stand, but the words that you can't stand. If you will what? If you will what? If you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession amongst all people. For all the earth is mine. The King James Version said, you will be a treasure unto me above all people. That's what I'm getting at. Above all people. This is where you will be a treasure unto him above all people. Watch this now. For all the earth is mine. Watch this now. And you, not the world, not the Philistines, not the Egyptians, not the Amorites, not the Amalekites, not the Canaanites, you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak unto the people of Maycha'al. You see, for obeying the Creator and keeping his covenant, we become treasures in his sight. We become treasures, ladies and gentlemen. A peculiar people. A people who's above all people. But right now, because we're under the curse, we are we're at the bottom of the total pole. We're at the bottom. If you look at every nation on this planet, they have infrastructures. What do we as a people have? Where's our infrastructures? Where is our... Let's go back to Torah 5. Deuteronomy. And let's go back to 28. And you'll see what I'm talking about. And if 28 verse 1, and if you faithfully obey the voice of Yahweh and be careful to do his commandments that I command you to stay, that Yahweh will set you high above all the nation of the earth. Where are you supposed to be? Above. Watch this now. Watch this. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you. If you obey the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim, blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the fields. Blessed shall you be the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of the ground, and the fruit of your cattle, the increase of your herd, and your young and your flock.
Blessed shall be your basket and your kneeling bowl. That means you won't run out of food. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. Yahweh will cause your enemies who rise up against you to be defeated before you. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Yahweh will command his blessing on you in your bonds. Oh my gosh. You see, man, I ask you many times, you Christians, you believer of these religion, I ask you many, many times, where is the abundant life? Did he not promise you an abundant life? I come, he said, that you may have abundant life. Isn't that what the Messiah said? Where's the abundant life that he promised? You can't get it because you're enslaved. You can't get it because you're in disobedience. With obedience come a blessings. Watch this. What it says here. And Yahweh will establish you as a people holy to himself. As he has sworn, he has swear it to you. What? Let's go back here. And Yahweh will command the blessing on you in your bonds. You know what your bonds are, man? Your storehouse, your banks. You will be rich. The church is telling you shouldn't be rich. That that whatever, something about evil. What they say? The love of money is the beginning of evil. They make you afraid. They make you afraid to have possession and goods. It's the love of it that's the root of all evil. It's not money itself. It's the love. You should have money. You can't keep Yahweh's commandments if you don't have money. You can't do it. How are you going to do it? Because let me tell you something. When the Shabbat covenant, which is also in the Decalogue, the 10 word, which I'm wearing around my tatapath here. This is the 10 commandments. Written in our language. Written in our language. You can't keep the Shabbat unless you have. Imagine you're working for the boss. He tell you to come in on a Saturday. You tell him, hey, no, I can't come in on a Saturday. That's breaking the covenant of Yahweh. And he said, no, we worship on Sunday. You said, no. Sunday is not the seventh day. Therefore, it's not the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. I cannot worship on Sunday. I cannot go to keep that day as holy. Saturday is the day I need to keep it holy. Saturday into Sunday. That 24-hour span from sun up Saturday to sun up Sunday. That's the 24-hour span. Most Seventh-day Adventists and most Sabbath keepers today, even the Jews, keep it from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. But they don't understand, you see. They don't know that that's not the true Shabbat. The true Shabbat is Saturday morning to Sunday morning. You tell your boss you can come in on a Saturday. What do he tell you? You're fired. And then you can claim your religious rights and hopefully you get that. Right? We have to give offering to Yahweh. We have to give sacrifice lamb. You see, they told you that Jesus died on the cross for you and you no longer need to sacrifice. Show me that anywhere in Torah, and Toyota where the Creator tells you you need no more sacrifice. Show me anywhere in Torah and Toyota where the Creator says that he's going to send someone to die for your sins. Show me anywhere. But I can show you in the Torah, I can show you in the Toyota that the soul that sin is a soul that die. And that soul that sin is a soul that will die for his own sin. That the Father cannot die for the sins of the Son, nor the Son the sin of the Father. The man who sin is the man that died. How does one get saved? How do one get salvation? What people don't realize, the name Yahushua means or points to the one who is salvation. Do you know that the name Jesus, people don't realize that the name Jesus is actually the name for Zeus, son of Zeus? People don't know that. It also means earth pig. People don't understand that. They think Jesus means savior. There's only one savior, the Father alone, all by himself. The name Jesus supposed to mean salvation. But if you really look upon it, it's actually supposed to mean He, Yahweh, is salvation. He, Jesus, is not the salvation. We're going to talk about that Jesus too, because most of you think Jesus is the name given by which you must be saved, and you don't realize that there was no letter J until the year 1524. Therefore, Jesus could never be the name given by which we must be saved. So that all is a lie. All is a deception. The name Jesus is not the name given by which we must be saved. As a matter of fact, if you were to believe it and were to accept it, Jesus is the Antichrist. Jesus is the anti Son of Man. He's the deceiver that was to come. Most people don't know that. I know that sound crazy. That sound crazy. Because the true Mashiach that was sent is a black man. And he's a black man from the tribe of Yehudah, which is Judah. He's not this white guy, blonde hair, blue guys. His image is wrong. And his name is wrong. So if you're serving a white Jesus, you've been deceived and you don't know it. But we get into that more. But you can go Google. Go Google the letter J. Ask the question, what's the origin of the letter J? Go Google that and then you come back to me. Deuteronomy 28, verse 7. Actually, verse 9. And Yahweh will establish you as a people. Actually, let me go back to verse 8. And Yahweh will command the blessing on you in your bonds and in all that you undertake, in everything you lift your hands to, man. And he will bless you in the land that Yahweh, your Elohim, is giving you. And Yahweh will establish you as a people holy unto himself, as he has sworn to you, if you keep the commandments of Yahweh, your Elohim, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of you. Watch this. Show me any God in history that you can go back. Any God. I don't care what it is. Show me a God named Israel. Show me a God in history. Go search the history books and show me a God named Israel. I'm waiting. Show me a God. If you're called by his name and your name and Israel is that name, then show me a God. He says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven. Show me a God named Israel. Show me a God that named Jehovah. Where'd that come from? What's the history of the name Jehovah? Have you ever looked at the history of the name Jehovah, where it came from? Show me a God named the Lord, and I'll show you the Canaanite God who they call the Lord, or Baal. You get where I'm coming from? But I will show you a God whose name is Yahweh. And that's why we are called Maycha'al. We're called by his name. He has restored his name to us. You can go find that on the Ravenous Birds page. Go look up the Ravenous Bird YouTube page and look up true name of the Creator, and you're going to find out where all these names come from. Jesus, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yod, He, Vav, He, the 4-letter consonant. Go and look and see where they come from. The true name of the Creator, his name is Yahweh. Y-A''O''. Now we spell it that way in English because that's how it's pronounced. It's all about the pronunciation. So when you say Yahuwah, that's not the name of, I'm telling you, the Creator of heaven and earth not going to look at you. When you say Yahweh or Yahweh, I'm telling you that the Creator is not going to look at you. When you say Israel, God of Israel, the Creator is not going to look at you. When you say Jesus,
The Son of Man is not going to look at you. Who are you talking to? There's no sweeter sound than a person's ears to a person's ears than the sound of their name. And if somebody mispronounce your name, you're not going to look. And if they mispronounce your name while you're looking in their direction, you're going to correct them. That's not my name. And you're going to correct them and let them know this is how my name is pronounced. Call me by my name. You must call him by his name. His name is Yahweh. How do we know that? Even the LX, the Dead Sea Scroll. Go look it up. Listen, don't let me tell you. Go let the ravenous bird tell you. Who is this ravenous bird I'm talking about? He was prophesying Isaiah 46 verse 11. The ravenous bird will come from the east, the man who will execute the counsels of the Creator. He has to be from us. Look through the Bible and see wherever the Creator sends a people outside of his people to his people. It's not something he practiced. He always sent a people from within his people to his people. All the prophets that is used by Yahweh is sent from his people to his people. That's how we operate after the covenant of Abraham.
Let's continue. What else will be blessed? And how do you get blessed? If you keep his commands. If you keep the commandments of Yahweh, your Elohim, and walk in his ways. Verse 10. And all the people of the earth shall see that you are called by his name, the name Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of you. Let me tell you, it's happening now. It's happening now right here in the Philippines. And Yahweh will make you watch this. And Yahweh will make you abound in prosperity. Don't tell me you're supposed to be poor, worshiping a God who have everything. He's going to make you abound in prosperity, in the fruit of the womb. You're going to have children. Ain't no abortion in this kingdom. Children are a blessing from Yahweh. Anytime you come in abortion, every time you stop a child from coming into the world, you are going against the word of God. He said, in the fruit of your womb, and in the fruit of your livestock, and in the fruit of your ground, within the land, and the land he swore to your forefathers to give you. Yahweh will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and bless all the work of your hands. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's blessings you can't even fathom. He will open up the heavens to your field. You ever see rain falling over there, but it's not falling over here? You ever wonder why? You ever see a storm come through and mash up people's houses and skip over your house? Fire, you ever see fire coming through a whole area, burn up everybody's house and skip yours? Thief come around and break into other people's car, but your car's right there, don't touch it. Your house is there, don't touch it. Because see a big old angel that's guarding your house, man. He keeps his angels charging over you. Watch this. There's more. Watch this now. And you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. How many of you are steep in debt? How many of you are steep in debt? Credit card debt, mortgage, working paycheck to make ends meet. This is no life. Yahweh said, you shall lend to nations, but you shall not borrow. And Yahweh will make you the head and not the tail, and you shall only go up and not down. If you obey the commandments, these church and pastors are telling you that the commandments is done away with. Kick them in their face. That's why you aren't being blessed. If you obey his commandments of Yahweh your Elohim, which I commanded you today, be careful to do them. And if you do not turn aside from any of his word that I command you today, to the right or the left hand, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods and serve them. Those are the blessings he promised.
And he didn't. It's only 15 verses of blessings that he gave. And from verse 15 to 68, how many verses of curses he gave us? Watch this now. Curse for disobedience. What our people don't know, if you obey the Creator and keep His commandment, there's a blessings that's bestowed upon you. You have to, because He has to show the world that you belong to Him. But the opposite is true, ladies and gentlemen. If you disobey His commands, a curse is upon you. Watch this. But if you will not obey the voice of Yahweh, your Allah aim, or be careful to do all His commandments and His statutes that I command you today, then all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Curse shall you be in the city, and curse shall you be in the fields. Curse shall you be your basket and your kneading bowl. Curse shall be the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your ground, the increase of your herd and the young and the flocks. Curse shall you be when you come in, and curse shall you be when you go out. You know what a curse is, man? It's like a curse is like paycheck to paycheck. That's a curse. Keep your slaves. It keep you a slave. Watch this. And Yahweh will send on you curses. Watch this. Who's going to do it? He will send curses on you, confusion and frustration in all that you undertake to do. How many business you start? How many times you try to save? How many times you try to do this and it just not working out for you? And when it look like it's going to work out, and people just come and they just start using you, or people just come, you're going to visit with them and they take it over from you. He said he's going to send confusion and frustration in all that you undertake to do until you are destroyed and perish quickly on account of the evil of your deeds, because you have forsaken him. Yahweh will make the pestilence stick to you like he has until he has consumed you. Disease, sickness, diabetes, heart attack, all these things. Pestilence stick to you until he has consumed you off the land that you are entering to take possession of it. Yahweh will strike you with wasting disease and with fever, inflammation and fury heat, and with drought and with blight and with mildew. Look at our people of 400 years of suffering. They shall pursue you until you perish. And the heavens over your head, shall be bronze, and the earth under you shall be iron. And Yahweh will make the rain of your land powder. From heaven dust shall come down on you until you are destroyed. And Yahweh will curse you to be defeated before your enemies. No matter what we do, we cannot stand up against the white power structure that overtake us. No matter what we do. Watch this. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And you shall be a horror to all the kingdoms of the earth. You look at the history of black people in the kingdom of the earth. England, Spain, America. And your dead bodies shall be food for all the birds of the air and for the beasts of the earth. And there shall be no one to frighten them away. And Yahweh will strike you with the boils of Egypt and with the tumors and tumors and scabs and itch, for which you cannot be healed. Yahweh will strike you with madness and blindness and confusion of mind.
And you shall gripe at noonday, as a blind gripe in darkness, a grope in darkness. And you shall not prosper in your ways, and you shall be only oppressed and robbed continually. And there shall be no one to help you. You shall be thought a wife, but another man shall ravish her. Well, isn't that what happened to us in the Atlantic slave trade, man? Your slave masters come and just take your wives and take your children. You shall build a house, but you shall not dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, but you shall not enjoy its fruit. Your ox shall be slaughtered before your eyes, but you shall not eat of it. Your donkey shall be seized before your face, but shall not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given to your enemies, but there shall be no one to help you. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, while your eyes look and on and fail with longing for them all day long. But you shall be helpless. A nation that you have not known. America, Europe, the Caribbeans, England, a nation that you have not known shall eat up the fruits of your ground and of all your labor, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed continually, so that you are driven mad by the sight that your eyes see. Yahweh will strike you on your knees and on your legs with grievous boil, for which you cannot be healed, from the sole of your feet to the crown of your head. Yahweh will bring you and your king, whom you set over you, to a nation that neither you nor your fathers have known. How many kings we set over us? How many Martin Luther King and Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X and all these people who come trying to free us? Black Panthers all come to nothing, because you see, the Creator has set a 400-year curse over us. No one can free you. No one is coming to free you. Don't think you can rally up yourself and have a Black Wall Street. You see Black Wall Street? Black Wall Street, we were building our infrastructure. A lot of people don't realize that Black Wall Street was rebuilt. A lot of people don't realize that. It was rebuilt, but come to nothing, because the hands of Yahweh was against it. We have our own infrastructure in the Black Wall Street. We had hospitals, we had schools, we had banks. And what happened? Yahweh sent our enemies to burn it down. And every time a black man rise, another black man is right there to put him down. Every time black people stand up to get something on themselves, they're dragged down. The only black people that you see stand up and living the high life is those who are in the system. And they are put there by Yahweh to give you false hope, to deceive you, to make you think you can be like them. What are they doing for you? What the Oprah and them doing for you? They're not doing nothing for you. You think they can get where they at without being in the system? Barack Obama, supposed to be the first black president. What Barack Obama has done for black people? People make an excuse. You know, every time he tried to do something, the white power structure. Man, please. You know what an executive order is? You know what an executive order is? Only the president can sign an executive orders. And though he can't make the executive order law, he can put it in the library. And once he put it in the library, that's an automatic law. Most people don't know that. You don't have a clue what what executive orders they are being signing. Most of you don't know. You know what these executive orders do to you? It's law, ladies and gentlemen. It is, you are ruled by law. You are slave by law. You're ruled by law. It's not by men. You think man ruling you? All those men who make these laws, they're all dead and gone. Or they serve their term and they're done. They can't do nothing for you. It's the laws that they make. And you're not paying attention to who's making the laws. You're not paying attention. You're paying attention to the president, but the president don't make laws. You have to pay attention to who make laws. There are three. But anyway, I don't want to get into all of that because I'll get pissed off. You're governed by law. You can't escape it. The question is, which laws are you governed by? Are you governed by the laws of Yahweh with the promises of Yahweh? Or are you governed by the laws of men? Because the law of man only make you worship them and the gods that they worship. So all these black people you see in power, Congress, movie star, musicians, they're put there to lead you astray. They're put there for you to look at them and have hope. Man, I want to be a rapper. Man, I want to be a basketball player. Man, I want to be a businessman. Man, I want to be this. Man, I want to be that. And you look at them, they have their house and the car, and you feel like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. But you don't understand. They are there to deceive you. Because the commandment is to come out of her, my people. You're not supposed to be hand in hand with them. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to come out of her. If you don't come out, you will be destroyed. Watch this now. Let's continue. Where was I? 36. And Yahweh will bring you and your king, whom you set over you, to a nation that neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you shall serve other gods. Watch this. And there you shall serve other gods. Watch this. The gods of wood and stone. Christianity. Someone asked me over here, so you're no longer Christian? You're damn right I'm no longer a Christian. The God of wood is Jesus. It's called Christianity. I will tell you to go read the book, How to Make a Negro a Christian. You don't even have to go buy the book. Go on YouTube and punch up How to Make a Negro a Christian, and they'll read it to you. There's a guy there that will read it to you. You know, any book you want, you don't have to buy anything nowadays. You just go right on YouTube, punch it up, and then read it to you. Being a Christian was not by choice, it was by force. And when you read that book, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Read that book and you'll see what I'm talking about. After you read How to Make a Negro a Christian, come back to me and tell me you want to stay one. You don't understand that you're worshiping your slave master's gods. Jesus is the God of the slave master. The very Jesus who is telling them, the very Jesus who gives them the power to enslave you is the same Jesus that's telling you to serve them. Be good to your masters. Do good to them that persecute you. Isn't that what the book said to you? The book said. Didn't that the book said, if one slap you on this cheek, turn the other cheek to him also? Isn't that what the book says? Pray for those that persecute you. Isn't that what the book says? But hold on. I thought in the Torah it tells you an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. The Creator told us in the Torah an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. How can this Jesus now come and tell us, you've heard it was said, an eye for a tooth, eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I tell you to love your enemies? Show me anywhere in the Torah and Toyota where the Creator commands us to love our enemies. There's no place in Torah and Toyota. Only in New Testament you'll find that. And I tell many Christians many times, there's no place. When the true Messiah walked the earth, there was no New Testament. The true Messiah didn't preach New Testament. There was no New Testament for him to preach. When he says, I come to complete the law. I come to not abolish the law, but to complete it. To keep it. To walk perfectly in it. To enlarge it. Think not I have come to abolish the law nor the prophet. I have not come to abolish it. Until heaven and earth passed away, he said, until heaven and earth passed away, not one jot, one tittle, one title from the law will be vanquished from the law until all be fulfilled. I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, is this the same heaven? Is this the same earth that the Messiah walked on? Are we still under the same heaven? Has it passed away? If not, we're still under the law. Like I told you before, you're governed by law. No grace can trump law, ladies and gentlemen. A matter of fact, grace is keeping the law. Go read it. It's in your so-called New Testament too. Grace doesn't vanquish law. Grace establishes law. When you're going down the road and you run a red light and a police officer pull you over, right? I'm gonna make it simple for you. You run down the road, you're running late for work, they run the red light. You clearly run the red light. You know you run the red light. You didn't see the police officer, he pulled you over. You broke the law. All right? Now watch this. Police officer pull you over, he asks you, you know you run the red light, you fessed up to it. Because if you don't fess up to it, you're getting a ticket and some points on your license. You fessed up to it. He asks you why you run the light. I'm late for work, sir. I've been late 2 times. The boss said if I'm late again, I'm going to get suspended. So when I see all the light, I run the light. You were honest. You confessed. The police officer take your license, run a check on your license. Make sure you have no warrant or anything. And the police officer come back, but he doesn't have a ticket in his hand. He said, I'm going to give you a warning. I'm going to cut you a slack. You have no priors. I'm going to cut you a slack. You know what he just gave you? Grace. He just gave you grace. Now, what are you going to do with that grace? Run the next light? Are you going to run the next light? And usually when the police officer pull you over, they always, for some reason, they always drive behind you. I don't know why they do that. They always drive behind you for a little distance and they turn away. Are you going to speed off when he gives you the grace? And run off again? I tell you, he'll pull you over and give you 2 tickets. Grace puts you back under the law. Grace puts you under the righteousness of the law. Because if you don't know, there's 2 laws. There's a righteousness of the law and there is a destruction. There's a blessing and a curse of the law. And whichever side you end up on, that's based upon whether you keep or not keep. So grace doesn't give you or afford you the ability to not keep the law. Grace affords you the ability to keep the law because you just got grace. You know you should have got a ticket. So now you're going to drive at the speed limit. You're not going to run no light. You're going to get up earlier next morning so you can get to work on time. The God of wood is Christianity. The God of wood is Jesus. You call him God. How many of you serve Jesus and call him God? There is one God. There is no God the Son. There is no God the Holy Spirit. There's one God. And that God is Yahweh. Hear, O Maycha'al, the Lord thy God is one. He's not 3 in 1. Not 1 in 3 person or error. However you want to soup it up. There is one God. If you're worshiping a triune God, you're worshiping a false God. If you're worshiping the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit as God, you're worshiping a false God. There's not even in the New Testament does it say God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. And I told you before, there was no New Testament when the Messiah walked the earth. So he never knew of it. He never preached it. A matter of fact, if you really are doing your research, you would see that 80% of the New Testament is written by a man named Paul. Now, Paul, supposed to be the disciple of Jesus, who write all these epistles to different churches he started. Now, you must understand, those epistles are not scriptures. These are letters. How did they become canonized as scriptures? You got to go back to the history. The only thing that is scripture is that which come out of the mouth of the Creator. Whatever the Creator said is scriptures. That's why you see the prophet says, thus saith Yahweh. They don't come in their own voice. They don't come in their own words. That's why the Messiah said, I didn't come in my own name. Come on, somebody. I know I'm waking up somebody today. He said, I didn't come in my own name. But if one come in their own name, you will believe them. I come in the name of my Father, and you don't believe me. But if one come in his own name, this one that come in his own name is Jesus. Jesus. Where did the name Jesus come from? There was no letter J until the year 1524. So therefore, when the time when he walked the earth, his name is not Jesus. And you might say, oh, well, his name is Yeshua. Okay, if his name is Yeshua, then, ladies and gentlemen, why aren't you asking the question, if his name is Yeshua, why is it that it's not said Yeshua is the name given by which we must be saved? If his Hebrew, the real name, if that is his name, Yeshua, how comes they didn't tell you that that is the name given by which you must be saved? How did they make Jesus a name? And everybody calling the name Jesus, you're calling him a false god. That's the god of wood, the cross, the first hieroglyphics of the sun god, the fertility god. The cross is a representation of a false god. That's the god of wood. Now, what's the god of stone? Islam is the god of stone. You don't have to take my word for it. They claim to believe in Allah, but Allah have his children worshiping idol. What they have to bow down to? Every 5 times a day, where they point their face? 5 times a day, where do they point their face? To Mecca. What is Mecca? That dome of the rock, that's cube, that black rock cube that they have to take a pilgrimage once every year. And they got to march around that thing about 7 or 8 times or so, whatever, 13 times, or whatever much time they march around it. And then they all bow down to the rock and worship him. Does that sound like the God of the Hebrew? The Islamic God is not the same God of the Hebrew. We don't worship the same God. Our God commands us not to bow down to any image, graven image, any likeness of anything in heaven nor on earth. The mere fact that Islamic religion bow down to a cube and a rock that they claim fall from heaven, they're worshiping idols. I know that might hurt somebody. I'm not here to hurt your feelings. I'm just here to tell you we don't worship that God. We will never bow down to no rock. We'll never bow down to no government. We'll never bow down to no pastors or no religion. Or no, we bow to Yahweh and Yahweh alone. And how do you know we're worshiping Yahweh? Because he gave us the Shabbat as a sign, token, seal, mark, that we may know that he is the God we worship. That's why we keep the Shabbat. We don't have no image. We don't have no image. We keep the Shabbat as a mark and a sign. You can find that in Exodus 31, 31, 12 through 16. And all through the scripture. Though they not keep my Shabbat and profane my holy thing, go listen to the prophet Ezekiel. I'll show you a little bit about that. But let's go back to the curse. So yes, and you look at the two largest religion on the planet today. The two biggest and greatest religion, not of a Judaism. Judaism is a little peon to Islam and Christianity. Peon. Have the largest amount of people, probably 2.4 billion Christians today. And you ask yourself, how can there be so much Christians? And how can there be so much Christians? And how can there be so much Muslims today? Because those two religions force the captive to have the state religion. You see, Islam is a state religion. Christianity is a state religion. What was the state? Rome. Rome was a state. When Constantine became a Christian, he marched all his army through the waters and baptized them. And when he made Christianity the state religion, he incorporated paganism with Christianity, and he made one religion, and that was the state religion. And every place they conquer, because Rome is the only nation on earth that colonized people. Every other nation, when they go to a nation and they destroy that nation, they burn up everything, burn up the city, burn up and take a few captives back as slaves.
The Babylonians did it. They were good for that. They will go a place, conquer the place, burn up the city, burn up everything, kill off half the city, take back the people as slaves. Some they train to work in the palace. Some they train to work in the fields. The Persians, same thing. Greece, same thing. But when the Romans come aboard, the Romans had a understand kingdom mentality. Wherever they go and wherever they conquer, they colonize those places. You see, they don't burn up the cities. They don't kill off all the people. They just destroy the armies. And then they put their governor in that city and make those places Rome. Think about it. Even when the man with the pointy beard, when he was going around, what did he do? He was annihilating people. But Rome was colonizing people. Now, when Rome was defeated or destroyed in the year 476 AD, the Rome split into 10 nations. Guess who the 10 nations are today? 3 of the 10 nations are extinct. And that's why Rome today sits on 7 hills, the city on 7 hills. You ever heard about the city on 7 hills? Guess what's happening? If you look at the history book, you will see those 7 nations, or 10 at the time, that they have a direct hand in the capturing and enslavement of us, our black people, through the transatlantic slave trade. England is Rome. I wonder if no people know that England is Rome. They never used to be called England, you know. They were called Saxons. But you see, the name are changed so that you won't know the truth about who they are. France is one. Did you know that France was not called France? They were called Frank. Go look at the history of France and slave. Go look at the history of England and slave. You ever heard of the Lombards? Go look up the Lombards. Who are they today? The Lombards are Italian. They're Italy. Where's Italy? Where's Italy right now? Sits in the Vatican, right near the Vatican. Y'all don't understand, man. Y'all don't understand what's going on here. And America, which is the largest of the embodiment of the slaves. America. You have hell to pay, America. Wanapatse paka. Wanapatse paka. When you see the children of Maycha'al start to make the war chant against you, and the Creator will use us once more to destroy these cities by our praise and worship to Him. We ain't going in there with no sword. We don't have no sword. We don't have no numbers. We're going to use our praises. You see, the Creator inhabits our praise. When you see we start singing to Him, watch. When you see you see you don't know what's going on around the world because you have not been seeing it. They control what you see and what you hear. Thank God for TikTok. Thank Yahweh for TikTok and these little offshoot thing that's letting you know what's going on around the world. People are being slaughtered by natural disasters. And it's going to get worse. All right. Go read the rest of Deuteronomy 28 by yourself, please. There's so much to read here. But let me jump down to 64. Let me jump down to 64. You know what? Let me jump down to let's jump down to 58. Because I want you to hear some things here. 58. Deuteronomy 28, 58. If you are not careful to do all the word of this law, all the word of this law that are written in this book, that you may fear
his glorious and awesome name, watch what's going to happen. Yahweh, your Elohim, then Yahweh will bring on you and your offspring, children, us, extraordinary affliction. Look at the Atlantic slave trade and look at some of the things that happened to us, man. Extraordinary. You ever hear people cutting out your flesh and eating your flesh? Did you know they used? Do you know they used to eat our flesh? Barbecue. Cut the babies from our wives and our mother's belly. The horrific thing that was done to us through the transatlantic slave trade is unheard of. Hang you upside down and cut off your junk. Have horses tear you into two. Burn you alive. Hang you on the tree. Man, go look up your history. You can't forget that. Extraordinary afflictions. Affliction serving and lasting. And sickness, grieveness, and lasting. And he will bring upon you again all the disease of Egypt, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. Every sickness also, every affliction that is not recorded in the book of this law, Yahweh will bring upon you until you are destroyed. Whereas you were as numerous as the stars of heaven, you shall be left a few in numbers, because you did not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. And as Yahweh took delight in doing you good and multiplying you, so Yahweh will take delight in bringing ruin upon you and destroying you, and you shall be plucked off the land that you are entering to take possession of. 64. And Yahweh will scatter you among the nations, among the people, from one end of the earth to the other. And there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone, which neither you nor your fathers have known. And among these nations you shall find no respite. You will find no down rest. And there shall no one rest, and there shall be no resting place for the sole of your feet. But Yahweh will give you there a trembling heart and a failing eyes and a lavishing soul. Your life shall hang in doubt before you. Night and day you shall be in dread and have no assurance of your life. In the morning you shall say, if it only were evening. And in the evening you shall say, if it only were morning. But of the dread, because of the dread that your heart shall feel, and the sight that your eyes shall see, and Yahweh, your Elohim, will bring you back in ships to Egypt. Wait, go look in history. Go look in the history books and show me if you can find a place where the children of Israel, those so-called people over there, went back to Egypt again in ships. You see, the Egypt he's talking about is America. It's called Masraim, or the land of misery. They never went back to Egypt as a nation. So where did he bring them? America is Egypt, the land of the pyramids. Go look in North and South America and see how much pyramids in there, how much rivers there. That's where he brought them. And from America, they scatter all over the place. Watch this. And Yahweh will bring you back in ships to Egypt, a journey that I promise that you should never make again. And there you shall offer yourself for sale to your enemies, and male and female slaves, but there will be no buyer, no rescuer. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Read that.
there's only one people on the planet, and that's you. If you can trace your lineage to the Atlantic slave trade, that's you. The marriage. You are a covenant people. You're married to Yahweh. But our ancestors have betrayed us, has betrayed Yahweh and not keep his commands. And we are being leveraged. We are being leveraged. We have been battered, bruised, confused. We've been serving the God of wood and stone. Everything that he said was going to happen is happening to us. But the time has come in this marriage, ladies and gentlemen, where the Creator has won us back again. But it's only a few, only a remnant shall be saved. Only a remnant. One from this family, two from that family. Will you be the one? You in America and these Caribbean islands and all over the place, you hearing this? You're not getting ready to leave. You might say, well, I have no money. You might say, I don't have the means. All you need is to call upon the name of Yahweh and watch him deliver you. If you believe that this is true and you have no money, no means, call on his name and watch what's going to happen. And the children of Ya'oshua called upon the name of Yahweh and he delivered them. If you hear this message and you have no money and no means, you call upon Yahweh. You said, I am ready to go. And watch him make the means for you. You do what you can and let Yahweh do the rest. If you get your passport, because that's what you're going to need to travel, get your passport ready. And while your passport papers are in, start liquidating and take all the money you have. And here's why. Because come 2025, there will be hell to pay. And how do we know this? Because we're coming up on the 42nd Jubilee, which is a 50-year cycle. When every 50 years, Jubilee, the Creator does something crazy. Marriage. You understand why this marriage is failing. I want to take the next couple of minutes now and talk to you about your marriage with each other. A lot of marriage is failing. And it's failing because people don't understand marriage is about covenant. It's about law. It's not about feelings or emotions. You're letting your feelings and your emotion take the best of you. No, ladies and gentlemen. Marriage is about a commitment. It's about a decision. It's a choice. Happiness is a choice. You have to choose it. You have to want to be happy, man. You have to choose it. It's not based upon feelings and emotions. There's so much I want to say about marriage here to help you that are struggling in your marriage. I have a question for you though. What makes people lose in life? Why do people lose in life? Why some people rich and some poor? And I'm not talking about those who born into riches. I'm talking about why is it some people can go from nothing to everything and some people go from everything to nothing? What makes people rich? What makes people lose in life? What makes them fail? And I was talking to my friend and brother Thomas Hogan, and he just gave me some insight, man, that I just want to share with you. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to take away from the message that you got today. But I asked the question, what make people lose in life? And one of the things that he said, who defines failure or success for you? Who defines your failure and your success? Because my success is not your success. What I do to be successful is not what you're going to need to be successful. Who defines my success for you? See, my creator, our Father who art in heaven, he designed success for me. And he told me straight up, if you love me and love your brothers, love your neighbor, all will go well for you. So I've learned, and I've learned it from Myron Goldman. I take things from people, man. I take people from people and I make them my own. Because if it works for them, I want to see if it's going to work for me. He says here that your purpose is to please God and to please your neighbor. And the same thing I found out. Your purpose in life is to please your creator. But if you don't know him and you're worshiping false God, if you don't know him and you're going elsewhere, you're committing adultery. This is what I want you to know, and this is what I want you to understand. The creator is not speaking to anyone outside of a covenant. He made a covenant with Abraham and his children, and that's who he's dealing with. He is not dealing with this world. He's going to destroy this world. He's going to destroy the power structure of this world. No matter how much ships they have, no matter how much plane they have, no matter how much power they have, Yahweh is going to destroy it. You can't sail a ship in his waters and think you're going to sail that ship peacefully. He controls the wind and the wave. You can't fly a plane in his sky, in his heaven, and think you're just going to go, and you can't you need the air, you need the atmosphere, you need the waters to do your bidding. He controls that, my friend. Your bomb ain't going nowhere because he need air to burn. Your ships ain't going nowhere because it need water to sail. Your planes ain't going nowhere because it needs air to fly. And he controls all of that. So when you go up there, he just cut the air from under you and you drop. The creator is not talking to you, speaking to you, if you're outside of his covenant. Watch this. Let's look at Maycha'al, Isaiah. Let's look at Isaiah 56. Let me show you something. Isaiah 56. Isaiah 56 and verse 1 says, "Thus saith Yahweh." Who's speaking? Not me. Yahweh. "Keep justice and do righteousness, for soon my salvation will come." Whose salvation? His salvation will come. "And my righteousness be revealed. Blessed is the man that doeth this, the Son of Man, who lays it fast, who keeps the Shabbat, not profaning it, or keep his hand from doing any evil." What? Blessed is the man who does this, the Son of Man. Son of Man is not a title that belongs to one person. From what? Keeping his Shabbat. So one of the first thing you got to do, if you're going to church on Sundays, and Sunday is your day of rest and holy convocation and worship, you're breaking the commandments of the Creator. Sunday observance, Sunday worship is in violation of his commands. You're transgressing his commands. If you're keeping Sunday, let me say to you clearly, if you are keeping Sunday, the first day of the week, as a holy day of rest and holy convocation, if Sunday is your day of worship, you are in violation of the fourth commandment in the Decalogue. You're sinning. What is sin? According to your New Testament book, what is sin? Is not sin the transgression of the law? Is not sin knowing the good that you ought to do and don't do it? Is not sin? According to your book. What is transgression of the law? According to Matthew 15, what is transgression of the law? Is when you put a law in place of a law. It's when you put tradition in place of the law of God. You're nullifying the commandments of the Creator for the sake of your tradition. Sunday is not a law given to us by God. It is a tradition given to you by man, by Rome. I told you England is Rome. The papacy is Rome. That's why they call it the Church of Rome.
All your Protestant movement is Rome, whether they're Seventh Day Adventists to all the Christian denomination, it's Rome. And whether you want to accept it or believe it or not, Islam is Rome as well. And if you don't believe that Islam is Rome, go to any of those Muslim countries today and tell me what you see in the dead stop middle of the damn place. There's a mosque. There is a Catholic cathedral in every single Muslim country. Now, if you're a Muslim country and you're against Christianity, how come, and all the bombings and all the blasts, how come they don't blow up these places? For all the wars, at one point they were beheading Christians. At one point they were beheading Christians in some of these countries. But the mausoleum is right there. Not the mausoleum, the Catholic cathedral is right there. How come you don't blow up that shit? Nobody asking these questions, man. So Sunday is in violation of the commandments of God. If Sunday is your day of rest and holy convocation, if you're keeping Sunday because Jesus rose on the first day of the week and that's why you keep it Sunday, you're in violation of the 10 commandments. And if you're in violation of the commands, you're sinning. All right, let's continue. Blessed is the man that doeth this, son of man, who will lay fast, who keep the Shabbat, not profaning it, and keep his hand from doing an evil. Let not the foreigners. Who are the foreigners? All right, let the foreigners tell you. Let not the foreigners who has joined herself to Yahweh say, Yahweh will surely separate me from his people. What does the foreigner recognize? The foreigners, the Gentiles, recognize that they're not the covenant bloodline people of God. They recognize this. I am not black. I cannot trace my lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. Therefore, I am not the bloodline of Yahweh. But I want you to pay attention to what Yahweh said here. In verse 3, Isaiah 56 and verse 3. Let not the foreigners who has joined himself or herself to Yahweh. So these are people who recognize the Shabbat is the true day of worship and holy convocation. They recognize that Jesus Christ is not no Lord, and that's not the true God. They are forsaking their religion and forsaking their belief system, and they have joined themselves to be a covenant keeping people by starting keeping his Shabbat and doing no evil. Go down to verse 6. Let's jump down to verse 6. And the foreigners who have joined themselves, not the foreigners who have not joined themselves. If you have not joined yourself, you're not keeping the Sabbath, you're not keeping the covenant, you're not who he's addressing here. You are waiting to be destroyed. Those who are not of the bloodline, who have joined themselves to Yahweh, to keep his covenant and to do that which please him, you are who he's talking to. Now let Yahweh speak and let me shut up. Isaiah 56 and verse 6. And the foreigners, the Gentiles, who has joined themselves to Yahweh, to minister to him, to love the name Yahweh. You can't come unless you love that name. You cannot come unless you have that name. If you come with your Jesus, you're rejected. If you come with your Jehovah, you're rejected. If you come with your Lord or Savior, you're rejected. Mighty God, King of priests, King of kings, priest of priests, you're rejected. Yahuwah, you're rejected. Yahweh, you're rejected. Yahweh Shai, you're rejected. If you come with all of these names, you're rejected. You must come under the name Yahweh. To love his name. He don't play with his name. He put that in the top 10. He said, thou shalt not take my name in vain. Because he will not hold you guiltless. In other words, you won't even get forgiveness if you take that name in vain. That's what it means to not hold you guiltless. You know, they sweeten it up there in the English. But what it actually means is that, listen, you mess around with this name, there is no forgiveness for you. That's what it means. But what did he say? To minister to him, to love the name of Yahweh, to be his servant. Every everyone.
Here's where you come in. Everyone who keeps the Shabbat and do not profane it and hold fast his covenant, these will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer.
Watch this. You thought burnt offering was done away with. You thought
Sacrifice was done away with. Watch this. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifice will be accepted on my altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people, not just the bloodline, for all people who join themselves to Yahweh, to love his name, to keep his Shabbat, to minister unto him, to be his servant, everyone who keeps his covenant. He said, I will bring you to, you are without excuse. He will bring you to and make you joyful in his house of prayer. Watch this, verse 8. Isaiah 56, verse 8. And Yahweh, your Elohim, your Adonai, who gathered the outcasts of Ya'osharel. Okay, see, he's going to bring us back from all the island from which he scattered us. Declare, I will gather yet unto him besides those already gathered.
you have a way in.
Your way in is to keep his covenant. Your way in is to join yourself to him. Do that which he commanded you to do. And then he said he will accept you and bring you. Ain't no Jesus coming to save you. Hear me well. That is your slave master's God. And that's why I said go and read the book, How to Make a Negro a Christian. When you read that book, you're going to see that you being a Christian was purposely done to you to control the way you think. They make the true Savior white and put him in their image so that when you look at them, you think the God you worship is made in their image. I'm telling you, no white man on the planet could be the Savior and the God of our heavens. And I'm going to tell you why I know this for certain. Because the Creator create man the first man was created in his image and his likeness. And the first man and the first woman on this planet cannot be a white man. No way, shape, or form can the first man on this planet be a white man and a white woman. And here's how I know. The science prove it. This skin that you see we carry here is called melanin. They call it melanin, but it's actual carbonated. You see this carbonated skin? No recessive skin can create the carbonated skin. The white man is recessive. His skin is not carbonated, it's recessive. And no recessive skin, no white man and white woman can create a black man. Come on now. We know from the scripture that out of one man he created all man. From one man he created all man. That one man could not be a white man because his skin is recessive. You cannot get the dominant from the recessive, but you can get the recessive from the dominant. This skin is the dominant. The black man have the genes to create every human being on the planet. The black woman is the only woman on the planet with the Eve gene. This is scientifically proven. The black man is the first man. All the patriarchs of the Bible are black people. That's why when you trace your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, black people. The Bible is about you and the Creator.
Your forefathers and the promise made. He's not talking to nobody on this planet except you. And anyone come to Yahweh has to come through you. Because you're the head and not the tail. That's how he made you. He put you above all men. But because of disobedience of our forefathers, and because we're still disobedient, we were slated to suffer 400 years of enslavement. But that 400 years is up. If you do the math from 1619 to 2019, that's 400 years. But you notice after 400 years of 2019, nothing happened. Nothing happened in 2019. Everybody thought, okay, the creator's going to come and punish America. Nothing happened in 2019. You know why? Because he said after after the 400 years, he never tell you how long. And if you look at the prophecies, everything has to line up. You see, here's what has to line up. Daniel chapter 2 has to line up. The Babylon, the statue, head of gold, chest and arm of silver, belly and thigh of brass, legs of iron, feet of iron and clay. That's the Babylonian Empire to the Roman Empire. In AD 476, the Roman Empire split into 10. That empire that's split into 10 has a direct hand in the Atlantic slave trade. You see how everything fits together? Everything fits together. The 42nd Jubilee is coming to an end in 2024. So the spring of 2025. See, 2023 is the Exodus year where we are to leave this country. 2024 is the added year because there's a 49 plus 1. It's 49 years plus 1, which is 50 years. After the 50 years, you're going to have the 42nd Jubilee is going to come to an end in 2025, spring of 2025, which is somewhere around April, May. After that, the Jubilee cycle is over. I begin. After that Jubilee cycle, the Creator has to do what he said he's going to do. And if he doesn't, then we're all false. Go on about your life, go do what you have to do. But remember what I said. Remember what I said to you earlier. When Noah and his family and all the animals and birds went into the ark, nothing happened. Nothing happened for 7 days. No rain came for 7 days. So don't think because nothing might not happen at that time that nothing is happening. Probation might be closed on you. You can't get out. You can't travel anymore. You can't fly. So now you're stuck. And when you're stuck, what are you going to do?
You are watching TMB, Truth Matters Broadcasting.
Truth matters, ladies and gentlemen. What are you going to do when you're stuck like glue and you can't come to the Philippines? What you going to do when you should have left but you didn't leave? What are you going to do? I tell you what you're going to do. You're going to stay and die. Because when the power structure of America is broken, when the power structure is broken, what are you going to do? You know what's going to happen? It's going to implode on itself. You're going to see those who have the gun and have the power is going to consolidate their power. And those who have the food and the supermarket, you see what happened. What happened when riot break out? They loot the supermarket, they loot the this. And I would never could understand why people loot in the areas where that's serving you. When you loot in the areas that's serving you, then what you have now. So when people loot and they grab all the food on themselves and they hold on to that food, what's going to happen when that food is done? What's going to happen? And your babies are crying. Your wife is looking at you. Your children are looking at you. Husband's going to go out looking for food. What if you have no husband? You're going to leave the babies at home and go looking for food. You're going to rob and steal. You're going to do whatever you can to get it. And when there's no food, you start eating one another. Look at the Bible. They did this, man. This was done in the scriptures. You guys must understand. That's why he said, come out of her, my people.
unless you're going to be partakers of her plague. The plagues are coming. The vials are being poured out. And the seventh plague is poured out right now, it's still pouring out. And we're into the fifth vial, ladies and gentlemen. So I give you a warning. Come back to your husband. Come back to your husband. His name is Yahweh. Come back to him on bending knees. And right now he's telling you to pack up and leave and come to the Philippines, to the wilderness, where you'll be nourished and be protected. Cebu, Philippines. You're one. I give you the message. What you do with it is on you. It's on you, man. Here's what I want you to do for me. When you get off of this call, when I end this, I want you to go look up the ravenous bird, please. Or if you don't know that the ravenous bird was prophesied, let's go to Isaiah 46. Let's go to Isaiah 46 real quick. If you think the ravenous bird is just some guy who's preaching, I want you to look up the ravenous bird. Let's look at Isaiah 46. And let's start in verse 8. Isaiah 46 and verse 8. Watch this. Remember this and stand firm. Recall it to mind, you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is no other. See, he's telling you, he's the only one. I am Yahweh, and there is none like me. If you serve a triune God, then there's three of them. There's none like me. Watch this. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, things not yet done. Saying, watch this, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose. Calling a ravenous bird, a bird of prey from the east, the man of my counsel, the man who will restore my counsel from a far country. I have spoken it. I will bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will do it. Listen to me, you stubborn of heart. You who are far from righteousness, I bring near my righteousness. It is not far off, and my salvation will not delay. I will put salvation in Zion, or Zion, for who? For us. For Maycha'al, his glory. Who's he doing this for? Us. But not only for us, for his name's sake. Calling a ravenous bird. And that's the ravenous bird I'm sending you to. That is the ravenous bird I'm sending you to. Go to YouTube right now. Get off this here and go listen to the true prophet that was sent. The true man of God who was sent to restore the counsel back to us. That's how we learned his name. And everyone that's here in the Philippines is here because of the name. We all were searching for the name. We weren't searching for the ravenous bird. I didn't even know of a ravenous bird. And I read my Bible true and true, and I don't remember of a ravenous bird. The only time I remember of a ravenous bird when I'm reading the Bible was when the raven was sent out. Noah sent out the raven, and then he sent out the pigeon, and the pigeon come back. The dove. When he sent out the raven didn't come back. Right? I also know of the raven when Elijah was in the brooks and he was hungry, and the Creator sent the raven bird with bread and fish for him. It's the only thing I know about the raven. So when I read this and see that there's a ravenous bird, the man, and I'm glad he said the man that will do this. We found the ravenous bird. And how I found the ravenous bird is I prayed to Yahweh. I didn't know his name. But I knew that what I was a part of, I knew Christianity was a false. I left from Sunday worship to Saturday worship because I went to the Adventist church, and I knew something was wrong. And I knew that we're not following the word. And I stopped going to church altogether, ladies and gentlemen. I stopped going to church. And I prayed. I said, what is your name? There was just too much name. I can't, before I get to his name, I heard a white guy was preaching about the letter J, and he wasn't a Christian or a preacher. He was just giving us facts. He had a podcast, and he was talking to a pastor who left the church and become a millionaire, and he was talking to the pastor about the name of Jesus, and he says, what is the true name of the Messiah? And the guy said, oh, his name is Jesus. And he said, no, it's not Jesus. And he said, what is the name? And the guy said, well, Yeshua. And he said, that's what they call him, Yeshua. And then he says, there was no letter J till the year 1524. Now, when he said that, I was like, what? All my life going to school, nobody ever told me that. Like, what? There's no letter J until the year. You mean there was no letter J till the year 1524? Now I said, that can't be right. Because I know Jesus was born way back over in the century. So how can there be no letter J? So I started looking it up. And when I look it up, I Googled it. What's the origin of the letter J? And I was blown away. Now here's the name I've been calling upon my whole life. Jesus. And I'm saying if there's no letter J before the year 1524, then what was his name before then? What was his name in the year 1523? And then I start putting two and two together. I said, why didn't they call him Yeshua? If his name was Yeshua, why didn't they say Yeshua is the name given by which we must be saved? But nobody's preaching that Yeshua is the name given by which we must be saved. They're down on Jesus. Jesus is the name given. And I say, can't be. My common sense tell me cannot be Jesus, because Jesus was not, there was no J before the year 1524. And I start to look for evidence to see if there was any letter J name. And, I'm from Jamaica. I'm from Jamaica, right? I come from the little island of Jamaica. That's where I was born. So I'm thinking, okay, if there was no letter J before the year 1524, then Jamaica has to have another name. Jamaica has to have another name. And so I went back and went through the research and come to find out Jamaica wasn't Jamaica, my friends. It wasn't spelled with a J. It was spelled with an X. It was Xamaica. It wasn't Jamaica. It was Jamaica. I was like, what the block is going on here? And as I start to do my research, I'm like, all right. So I had to reject the name. I didn't reject the letter J. I had to reject the name. My wife's name is Janine. So I can't reject her name. There's a letter J now, but there was no letter J before the year 1524. So the Jesus could never be the name. And that just led me on a search for the right name. And I said, okay, if they didn't give Yeshua as the name, what is the name? And I go to Yahuwah, Yahweh Shine. I go to all these different names, and I'm searching, and the Yod, He, Vav, Ve, and I'm going to all these names. And I'm like, there's just too many names to choose from. How am I supposed to determine which name is the true name? So I'm like, all right, I could pick one that sounds good to me. And you know what I said, the son, the Son of Man, the Messiah said he came in his father's name. So he has to have his father's name. Because common sense said, when I married my wife, her name was Nurse. But when I married her, she took my name. So her name changed from Nurse to Sewell. When we have children, our children take our name. When we came over here as slaves, they took our name and give us their name. So my name Sewell is not my name or the name of my ancestors. My name Sewell is the name of my slave masters. I met a white guy once at a mechanic shop. His name was Sewell. And I looked him right in the eye. And said, oh, so you were our slave masters. Your ancestors owned my ancestors. When I said that to him, he was dumbfounded. He couldn't respond to me. He wanted to be my friend, though. You get what I'm saying? He wanted to be my friend. But he couldn't respond to me because he know that what I'm saying is true. Your ancestors own my ancestors, a slave. How do you respond to that? So what I'm saying is, if we're the sons of the Creator, we have to have his name. When the Messiah came, he said, I come in my Father's name. So his name could not be Jesus because there's no name in heaven named Jesus. There's no name in our history that named Jesus. So what is the name of the Messiah? The black Messiah. Yahoshua. Yahoshua. That's his name. That's the real name. I found that out from the ravenous bird. Yahushai. Yahushai. See, come his name as Father. What's our name? Not Israel, but Yahoshua. Prince with God. Prince with Yahweh. We're the sons of Yahweh. We're his firstborn. Tell Pharaoh, let my firstborn go, that he may come out here and worship me. We're his firstborn. You get where I'm coming from? So once we understand that, we take hold. That's why I want you to go and look up the ravenous bird. There are 4 videos on his page that I want you to watch. 4 series. But I want you to watch Leave on Wings first. You know why I don't want you to watch the name Yahweh first? Because you've heard me say it. You heard me say the name Yahweh. The urgency right now is for you to leave. So I want you to go watch Leave on Wings. What you're going to hear, you're going to hear my brother speaking in our native tongue. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. You're going to hear him speak in our native tongues. Leave on Wings. Let me see if I can find it up here and let you get a little bit of it. And he's going to break it down grammatically for us. And he's going to show you. He's going to show you, man. Let's see here. There it is. I want you to hear it sound. You're going to start with a bird flying, leaving by wings. Leaving by wings. Leaving by wings. Go and watch this, ladies and gentlemen, because this is what you need to do now. Once you watch the first 1, 2, and 3 of Leaving by Wings, then go start over, watch Brought by Ships. Brought by Ships. So you can see the ancestry line and how we come to know who we are. And then watch Keep Silent Before Me Islands. And then watch Yahweh's name. So here it is now. Here it is. Start like this.
And with fury poured out, and I will bring you into the when you come out of America.
Here's this, brother. Hold on. I want you to hear this. It's important. And I want you to listen to what's
It's talking about when you get into the wilderness. Yes, you have to go to the wilderness again. The same way when you came out of Egypt and you went into the wilderness and made the first covenant is the same exact way when you come out of America, which is the modern Egypt. You're going to have to go into the wilderness again. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people. And there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you,
Ezekiel
saith the Lord God.
20.
And I will cause you to pass
34 to 37.
and I will bring
38.
you into the bond of the covenant.
This young brother once on.
No, that wasn't the ravenous bird you were here. He's going to talk about this young brother. What you're going to hear is his voice. Here's his voice right now.
Fire for teaching and who inspired so many to wake up.
That's the
stopped
bird.
teaching some years back and took up aquaponics instead. I hope you'll see this video. He was right about the wilderness. He just didn't know where it is. Ironically, after he stopped teaching and took down his videos from YouTube, he became a tilapia fish fanatic And tilapia fish just so happens to be an extremely popular fish in the wilderness. So let's talk about the wilderness. First, let's reread the scripture that the brother just read from Maycha'al, aka Ezekiel, chapter 20.
Listen to this. He's going to read it in our language, how it was read, and not in the filthy heathen translations.
Verses 34 to 38. Wahotzate avcham man haramem, wa kabatzte avcham man haaretzoth, ashar napotztham bam, bayat chazakah, wabazaroa natoeh, wabachama shapocha. And I will cause you to exit out from the nations, and I will gather you out from the countries which you were scattered in them by a strong hand and by an outstretched arm, and with fury poured out. That was verse 34 of chapter 20. The last clause in this verse, Wakabaste atcham man haaretzoth ashar napotztam bam, bayad chazaka ubazoroa natoe wa bachama shapocha. That clause is not describing how Yahweh is going to gather his people out of the lands of their captivity. It's describing how he scattered them to those places. OMPP, only Middle Passage people, were scattered to the lands of their captivity with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, and with fury poured out. That's how you would.
All right. So you've heard it there. So now it's up to you now. Go and hear. What I love about the Ravenous Bird, man, not only he speak our native tongue, man, fluidly, write it, read it, speak it. He was sent to restore it how it was said, not the chop up pieces that we're getting in these translations, but how it was said to us. And we're all here now. We're learning the language and we're learning how to speak it for ourselves. So we don't need a translator or a transliteration or translation. We're learning and seeing what Yahweh has said. Go on my YouTube channel, Now Living in the Philippines. Go on my YouTube channel, Now Living in the Philippines, and see for yourself how we're living here, how we're getting along here. See if we're a cult like people think we're a cult. Go check it out. Go see it. You will see how we're living. You'll see what we're doing, and you will know for yourself. Don't forget to like and share. When you go on the Ravenous Bird page, don't forget to like and share and comment and all that good stuff. All right. Also, if you want more information on the Ravenous Bird, you can go on his YouTube, on his channel, on his website at yaosheral.com. Yaosheral.com. All right. That's Yaosheral. But please go to YouTube. Time is running out. You only have a couple more months left before shit start happening. All right. So the choice is yours. Do what you want. I gave you the message. I sit here for 2+ hours now. We're going to 2 hours and 42 minutes. And the choice is yours. You do what you want to do. I deliver the message to you and you do what you want to do. But I love you guys and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep at it until the time when the door closed and they send off this new virus and you can't travel anymore. Then I'll stop, because what's the sense of preaching if you're going to be destroyed anyway? You know what I mean? Or the purpose of the message is not to really save you. The purpose of my message right now is not to save you. The Creator showed me this long time ago that my message is not to save. It's a warning. My message is really a warning, because only he has the power to save. So you can hear the message and you can believe it, and like the 5 foolish virgin, you will not have, you know what I mean? You will not have enough oil in your lamp. But if you're wise like the other 5, you will have extra oil. So I realize that my message is not to save you. My message is to warn you that whatever he puts in your mind, he's the one that's going to stir you to act. He's the one that's going to open the door for you to act. And whether you act or not, that's totally up to you. But there you have it. I love you guys. All right. Until next time, I'm Maycha'al Banya Asharal.
You are watching TMB, Truth Matters Broadcasting.
Peace.